So watch this. Like you're pushing, push stuff out the way. Push all of those things that stand in your way that make you less magnificent than you are. So you push that out the way. If you're communicating words and an idea, you have a responsibility to fill that with some type of emotion that you care about. And it's okay, I've been timid and nervous and shy and all those things, but I also had to make a choice to get beyond it because of what it was I decided to do in my life. My name is Iega Jeff. I am a child of community. You know, when I started to dance, I went to my community dance school. And even before that, I danced inside of my junior high school. And I met people that exposed me to dancers who were studying at what I would eventually go to, which was my community dance school, Bernice Johnson Dance Studio. And that's where people take you as a raw talent, you know. They stretch you out, they push your feet down, they teach you how to move and just kind of build upon your gifts when you just didn't know what you were doing at all. So you need people to expose you to your gifts, you know, to help you explore your genius. We all have genius, we all have Genesis. You come from Genesis, you know, so we have genius to explore. And I had wonderful people in my community that helped me to do that. And so it's organic that I continue that work. I started out, as I said, in the arts and community, and so I'll always be committed to that. Stories are powerful, you know, and we all have stories, and there's one thing that I think we undervalue, which is stories, you know, and our connect, because we can find our value through stories, our purpose through stories, our commonality through stories. We can celebrate our difference through stories, and again, through that difference, find a oneness. And I just think we spend a lot of time worrying about finance and, you know, and power and politics and all of that, but you really can't shape those things effectively if you don't know who you are in creation. So I think, you know, that's a hard question because we're so busy being busy that we seldom take time to slow down long enough to value ourselves. So a lot of people are walking around with a lot of fear. A lot of folks are walking around with hatred that they haven't really analyzed to understand what the root of that really is. And so we're projecting dislike or hatred upon other people. And the thing that I love about the arts at its best, you know, is that it can point you to self in a way that it helps you embrace other people. And so it's difficult for me to say, how do we as a country, how do we as communities change that, you know, really understand the importance of valuing that? You know, the only way that I know I do value it is when I slow myself down enough to really engage with other people in a human level, to exercise humanity, to spend time with people and to talk to people and to get to know who they are and where they come from, because community performance is an extension of that. And I think when you understand that, then you can understand the magnificence of being engaged in art, because art is about exercising humanity. It's about engaging in humanity. I met Richard about 15, 20 years ago, and he asked me to choreograph a show for him that he was doing in Chicago with CPI, and that's how I became connected to CPI. We just connected. I love Richard. I love what he does. I love his passion for community performance. I've learned a lot working with him. Even though I've done it prior to meeting him, he has been doing it for a very, very long time and has been committed to it in a way that has really elevated the profession to a really wonderful level. So I'm thrilled to be involved. What really moves me all the time is when I sit in the room, whenever we're doing a run, for instance, once we've done a lot of the work, and I get to just sit back and I watch the intergenerational interactions that happens in the room when the work is getting done. I love that because I remember being a part of a show once where the senior citizens were very afraid of the teenagers because they had very little interaction with them, or the teenagers didn't understand the seniors. So we have these divides in our community because we don't have close proximity anymore, and we don't have a process by which to really get to know and value the different ages and all the gifts that brings. So community performance is one of the rare places that you can engage in a truly intergenerational artistic experience, and I just really love that about it. So when I'm in a room and sometimes I don't even realize it, but I sit back and I say, wow, this is just really, really so beautiful when you see a mother in the cast holding a newborn, or you'll see someone who's 94 years old, as I did when we did a project in Lithonia, Georgia. There were two 94-year-olds in that cast, and we had everybody in between, and to really sit back and bear witness to how all of that just kind of intermixed and happened, it was really, really quite beautiful. And the 3, and the 4, the 5. If you're watching this video and you see something that moves you or you think is relevant, then just share it. You know, whatever social media outlets we have, just to get the human equation out there and how art really is about that. I just encourage anyone to go ahead and make that happen. Share.